Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at bluechew.com. Chew it and do it. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you use our promo code SOS at checkout. Just pay $5 in shipment. That's bluechew.com, promo code SOS, to receive your first month for free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast. Welcome to another episode of SOS VHS. Today we have one of the biggest online personalities out there. She's a YouTuber, a singer, a writer, an actress. You cannot, pigeonhole her into anything. She's incredible. She's Trisha Paytas, and we're talking about her favorite movie, Taxi Driver. So, grab your popcorn, and Trisha, are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
I love it. Where are you from?
I'm from Spain.
Really?
Yeah.
What is your first name?
Andres.
Andres? Spain? It sounds French.
Oh.
Are we doing I just want the sunglasses for the thumbnail for the cosplay.
That look is amazing. I thought you were gonna come this way. Right?
Really?
You just need a gun.
I was not expecting you to see this. I love it. I love sport. It's my favorite character of all time.
Yeah.
What a great concept, by the way, for this podcast. It's my dream to host a podcast like this, where you just talk about movies all the time.
Yeah.
Iconic. It's very Quentin Tarantino, Roger Avery.
Yeah.
Maybe they stole your concept. I don't know how long you've been doing this, but maybe they took your concept.
I think so. I think they...
Your accent sounds like... Who's the guy from The Room? Tommy.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I like it.
I was hoping for like Antonio Banderas, like something sexy. Oh. No. You sound like the vampire.
Yeah, but he's cool. You should have him on.
Yeah, Tommy Wiseau?
Yeah. Have you met him?
No, I've never met him. Have you?
No. Could you imagine you two talking, though? And people listening would be like, I don't understand anything.
I would love to have him,
That'd be great.
Tommy, if you watch the show, come on.
Oh, I'm sure he would. He's amazing. Hi.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Yes. As we just start right away, I was like, I love it.
Yeah.
And this is crazy. I hope you don't have anyone fatter than me on the show because it's so hard to sit down.
It's so uncomfortable. We just went for the look, and every single time it's like everybody has back problems after this. But
yeah, it's a vibe. I feel like we're on Lost or something.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Okay, so let me start off the bat. Like, if you lived in New York in the 70s, in the time of Travis Bickle,
yeah,
how would you have been famous? Because I know for a fact that you would have been famous at any time.
You think so?
Yes.
Oh, I think it would have been way harder back then because there was no social media. I don't know. Right. I came out to LA in 2006, kind of before social media blew up, and I did not know how you became famous. I literally would look in the papers to look for castings and stuff. I had no idea how to do it. And in the 70s, I guess I would go probably the Travis Bickle route and just be a vigilante or something and just try to be outrageous. I don't know. It would have been hard. I think it would have been different. I wish I would have. Maybe porn. I feel like maybe I would have been a porn star because it was really big in the 70s. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. No. I can see it.
Oh my God! You have the pinky too. Oh my God.
I'm ready.
Did you do this whole look or did someone help you?
We have an amazing team.
It looks amazing.
Every time I come in, it's like, how ridiculous can you look today? So they go for that.
Have you ever done a podcast where you don't know the movie?
No.
Really? So all the ones you've known?
Yeah. We usually ask the guests, about the movie, and then I try to research the movie and match it to their lives.
But have you had one that you had to research fresh, you never saw before? You're like, oh, I gotta watch this before.
Oh, I see. Not so far.
You've seen all the ones so far?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I've seen a lot of movies. That's why that's my heart is in the movies.
You love movies.
Yeah.
Are you an actor?
No. I am a writer, director, but never an actor.
You're a writer, director? Oh my God, you're like Tommy Wiseau.
I am. Yes, and that's my dream.
I love that. That's cool. Well, if you ever want to put me in a movie, I came out to be an actress. I'm not a good actor, but I always wanted to be in a movie.
Yeah.
And I still have yet to do it. No one ever asks me, so if you need somebody, I'm here.
Where does your fascination with fame come from, do you think?
Just attention. I just love attention. I love attention. I think I just wanted to be famous, and reality shows kind of were starting when I was a teenager. So that was so exciting to me. Anna Nicole Smith, I was just oh my, or Kelly Osbourne on the Osbournes. I thought, I want to be famous just to be famous. You know, I think that's like so fun. I think it's way funner than like acting or singing. If I could do those things, I would. I just can't. So it's so fun to just like be yourself. And I just like the attention. I used to pretend to like take pictures with fans when I was like 8, 9. Like it was great. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah, I just love being, I don't know, the attention.
Did your parents give you attention?
No.
Okay.
They worked all the time. Like they were good parents, but they just were working. My mom worked like 4 jobs. My dad was like living in California. I lived in Illinois. So they were just always working. So I got no attention. So I just watched movies a lot and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to be this. And, you know, I want to be an actress because I wanted attention from like, you know, men. And like, oh, if I do a movie, they have to do a sex scene with me or they have to do, that's why I loved like Taxi Driver because the sex scenes were like kind of intense. And I was like, ooh, maybe I could do that. Like that's my calling, you know? So I always, that's like what drew me to like acting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
When did you see Taxi Driver for the first time?
I was 13 years old and my teacher gave me the VHS and I was obsessed with the movie.
Your teacher gave you the VHS?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in love with him. And he would always have me come to his like class during lunch and we would just talk about the movies. And we watched a lot of Robert De Niro movies. It was between this or Cape Fear today.
Okay.
I really wanted to do Cape Fear too. I would have come with the full tattoos.
Yeah, like
that's also very erotic. I was like, I have a lot of trauma now from it, but I thought it wasn't trauma back then. I thought it was like cool. But I always just thought I had this fascination with like older guys when I was young.
Were you into the 90s like sex thrillers like Basic Instinct and Fatal Attraction and
I like the one. What's the one? Demi Moore gets paid to have $1 million to have sex. With
an indecent proposition.
Yes, you do know a lot of movies. I love that one. That was like my dream. I was like, oh my god, to get paid $1 million to have sex with like Robert Redford. That like to this day with my husband, I'm like, I'm sorry if I get asked to have like $1 million sex with Robert Redford, I'm going to. Like, you know what I mean? That's like a given. So I do love stuff like that. You know, I never saw Basic Instinct. I think maybe those were a little bit. I mean, Taxi Driver was before my era. Yeah. I just, I don't know. I never saw that. I never saw those ones.
Okay. I think you would like them. Yes.
They're sexy?
Yes. Yeah, very sexy.
Okay. I love sexy. Yeah, I do like sexy movies. I watched a lot when I was a kid. So anything with like sex, I liked.
So the moment you saw this movie, you were into it?
Yes.
Like because it feels very gritty, very underground. I don't know. Like it doesn't feel sexy in that way. And like it's not like very glamorous or like it's not alive.
I thought it was glamorous.
Yeah.
I thought I was 13, which is I think the age. I don't know if Jodie Foster was actually 13 or the age she was supposed to be in the movie, but
she's 12 in the movie and she was 14 in real life. But
isn't that crazy?
But yeah.
Like all this stuff. I heard that they actually had her sister like pull down the zipper. Like she wasn't the one to do the scenes, which I didn't know back then. I'm surprised that was like a rule back then. But to me, I like that looked glamorous to me because she had both the men liking her. She had Robert De Niro trying to save her. She had Harvey Keitel like cuddling her. Like it seemed very glamorous. I mean, sex work always has seemed glamorous to me. It's why I became like a stripper when I was like literally 18. Like I always thought it was glamorous, like the male attention, right? So obviously it's not. I mean, I was like literally a hooker on the street in LA. It was different than the hooker on the street in New York, but it was glamorous to me at the time. It was. I was like, oh man, like wow, she's so lucky. She's getting all this attention from guys. Like
okay. Oh.
I know.
You're different. I mean, like I think I grew up very different than you.
When did you watch it? How old were you?
I think I was 16 or 17. At that time in my life, I watched all the movies that really like.
You missed.
Yeah, but I thought about the violence and it was always this gritty thing, this dark thing. Like
you didn't like that.
No, I love the movie. I really I think it's one of the best movies ever made. Mm-hmm. But I didn't glamorize what it portrays, I guess. I was like scared of that world.
Yeah, I kind of get it with that too. Like actually to me, I grew up like really sheltered. So to me, it didn't seem real. Like that kind of thing, like where people are like shooting people. Like it doesn't seem like a real thing to me. That seemed like just something that happened in movies.
Right.
So like him trying to like eliminate like the congressman. I haven't watched the movie in like literally 10 years, but it's like my favorite. It's like to me, that's like not real. And then I found out, oh my God, this is like real. Like people are like this and people are psycho.
Yeah.
And so then I think I got scared a little more. And I like today, I'll never watch like violent movies. Like, but when I was a kid, like Bobby took my favorite film of all time, which is Pulp Fiction. But I was like, oh, you just did that. But that's right up there with Taxi Driver. And I used to just really love it because I thought it was just like not real, like the violence. And I thought, oh, like this is cool. Like you're getting justice on people who like do bad things. And then obviously when you grow up now and you see all this like gun stuff, like I actually like, cannot watch violent movies. Like it makes me like sick. It's like so weird. But these classic ones are a little different to me, maybe because I watched them as a kid. But yeah, I mean, people get messed up ideas from.
But I feel like Pulp Fiction is a little more like fake, meaning like it's like a glamorized version of violence is funny. I think this one feels very much like this could happen, like more documentary. I can see those people exist. And
well, I think it did happen, right? It was Jodie Foster's fan or something that was trying to like kill Arnold.
Right, exactly.
So like it happened in real life, which I always thought was like so creepy because it does give people like ideas. Yeah, I think Quentin's are very more like just like over the top, like Kill Bill with all the blood. Like it's just more,
exactly. He's more in the like a movie about movies and
right, like
feel like that.
Yeah, no one's like killing people with samurai swords.
Right.
Yeah, the New York one is crazy. Yeah, and I had never been to New York. I hadn't gone to New York since I was like 20, till I was like 20 years old. So to me, it was very like a different. It wasn't real. Like it wasn't a real world. So to me, it was very just movies. Who's your favorite director?
I would say this generation, they call them the movie brats of the 70s, you know, Spielberg and Scorsese and Lucas and Brian De Palma, all of those are like my...
Oh, really?
I love that.
So this is like your era of movies then?
Yes, the 70s is my era of movies.
Interesting.
If I could, you know, go live there, I would.
Wow.
Yeah.
Have you ever done like made a film like this vibe, this like 70s vibe?
No, never. I never had the budget to do something like that.
Yes, I did a music video based on Taxi Driver where I played all the parts, and it cost me like $200,000, and I had no money. I spent all my money on that, and I was like, dang. But it was so worth it. Yeah, I was just like, I love the vibe, I love the feel. I got to play all the characters. It's just, to me, it's so fun to play like all of them. I think it's
right. No, yeah. Is it true that you told your mom you wanted to be a stripper when you were 12, and that your mom said, okay?
No, wait, what?
Okay.
No, who said that?
I read an interview with you where like they quote you saying that.
Oh my God, I don't know if that, I mean, it's very possible I said that. I don't think I was 12. I think I was like maybe like 16. Maybe I said 12 for exaggeration purposes, who know. But no, my mom was always, I don't know if she's like okay with it, but she was just like, I guess, like, what are you gonna, you know, I don't know.
Right.
She didn't know either. She's very like, I'm very close with my mom, but she, you know, didn't know at the time, I guess, like what it entailed. It just seemed glamorous. I love striptease too. I love Burt Reynolds. He's also my all-time favorite, and I love him in striptease.
Yeah, but is it, well, also reading you and researching you, it looked like when you did it, it wasn't very glamorous, or like the place you end up, it wasn't like in the movies.
Oh my God, it's close to here actually. It's in Van Nuys. It's called Godfathers, or Canoga Park was the other location, and it was so run down. I mean, the women there, like no offense, but they were just not. They didn't shower. They didn't put themselves together at all. It was really, so I was like the cream of the crop there. You know what I mean? I was like literally Pamela Anderson compared to everybody. So that was the only place that hired me, because I auditioned at Spearmint Rhino and Van Nuys, and they're like, no, you're too fat. Even though I was like a lot skinnier back then. But Godfathers. But you know what? Like legit, those people spend money there. Like some of those guys, like you would think like, oh, they don't have money or whatever. They have the money. They were spending. I mean, yeah. But it wasn't. I mean, stripping is a little bit better. Like being a hooker on the streets is like really scary. I got like my teeth knocked out and stuff. But now I do OnlyFans from the privacy of my home. So I keep safe and still do sex work. So
you love that since you were a kid. You were fascinated with sex.
Yeah.
Why? What do you think, or was that, or when was the first?
I think it's just the attention again. I think like attention, right? Like being famous, I think it's just the attention. Like I was like, oh, if people are like, sexualizing me, like they're like they want to give me attention, they're idolizing me, like this kind of stuff. So I think it's always been that. And like in movies, it's so glamorized. Sex is so glamorized, and you want to be the sexy one. And I wasn't like just naturally sexy or anything, you know. So I really just went hardcore and I'm going to be this hardcore like sex chick, and you know. And some people find that attractive, some people don't. You know, some people think it's trashy, but it's like a weird thing in me. I don't know.
Yeah, more than trashy, I think like it could be dangerous, right? Like, or maybe it's me like being too safe. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's so dangerous. That's why I stopped hooking, is because I was getting like STDs all the time, and I got really scared because I knew so many girls that had contracted like really like lifetime diseases, deadly disease. So I got scared because I was pretty lucky, for as much as I like raw dogged it back in the day. Like I got pretty lucky, you know what I mean, to just come out with some chlamydia and scarred tubes. But I did stop because of that. It was scary.
But that didn't give you the fame, right? Like you became famous, but not through that route.
No. I wrote some books about it at an early age, but it wasn't like popular. Yeah.
Right. So how did you do the switch? What was the first time where you thought, okay, I can, you know, YouTube and all of that?
Yeah, I was always doing YouTube. And then I think I was friends with a YouTuber named Shane Dawson, and he was like making millions. We're the same age. He was like 19, and he had like bought a house for millions of dollars. And so I did a video. He actually hired me as a stripper off LA Casting, and I was like a stripper in one of his music videos. So I like saw all the thing, and then he's like, "Oh, you can make money." And I was already posting to YouTube, but I didn't know about making money. And then I kind of became a troll, like just seeking attention online and just being that person to be like saying outlandish things and crazy things. I really stole like all of Andy Kaufman's material like early on, so people thought those were like my thoughts because the new generation, which I'm surprised didn't know Andy Kaufman because like Jim Carrey did that movie.
Yeah.
But I just stole all his bits, and I was just like, oh, kind of like there's a girl now that does, I don't know her name. She's very like misogynistic and very like sexist, and she's like, oh, like women are just like they're like men are so superior. Like that was me for a minute, and this girl does this now, and it's like embarrassing. But yeah, that's how I got the attention.
How did you discover that was gonna be the theme that like kind of like being always controversial? I feel like you always, if something's controversial, you will jump on that.
I love this. Are you looking at notes or no? Do you just know this off the top of your head? Oh, you
yeah,
have
well,
notes.
I have notes.
Oh my God, you're so smart. Did you research this or you knew this? How do you know so much?
About what? About you?
Yeah.
No, I research you.
Oh my God, I love that. That's fun. I just started a podcast too, and I research people, and it's like so much. I love researching people, period. But you're very good at this. Anyways, so you know what? It was during the elections. I think Mitt Romney was like running for president. I think it was like 2012 or something. And I just put out a video being like, I'm voting for Mitt. And I was being so dumb on it, like so dumb. Like literally, I don't know who thought it was real, but I'll tell you who thought it was real. It was like Larry King. He put me on his show. The Young Turks put me on their show. It was Unc or whatever his name. He's like, wow, this girl's so dumb. But meanwhile, I was getting like $8,000, $10,000 a video talking about why I'm voting for Mitt because like his like name rhymes with like Kit, and it was something so stupid. And that's it. So I was like, wow. So I kind of trolled the like political realm for a minute.
Right.
And then when Trump was like gonna run, I was like, oh, let me troll with this. And then I realized, oh, not something to troll with. So then I kind of stopped because people were like really pissed. And I don't know. I don't follow politics. Some people say that's like privilege of me or whatever. I don't follow politics at all. Never voted. Like don't care. But I realized soon like, okay, don't troll with like Trump because this was also before he even got the nomination. It was like a really long time ago. And so I was like, okay, let me stop with the politics here.
Do you care what people think about you?
Yeah.
You
a
do?
Lot, yeah. I think like yes and no. I think sometimes I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And then some, but like also I get really affected what people say. So I'm very much a contradiction. People call me a hypocrite or whatever.
Right.
Very contradictory.
But you have, I would say at least multiple personas, but
yeah.
This idea of like, playing dumb for these people, but then have all this knowledge and all this research and all the, right? Like you have all these personalities.
Oh, yeah.
How do you, I guess, how do you become sane when you get home? Like, how do you center?
Well, I wasn't for the longest time. I was like very mentally ill and untreated. Like I literally would spiral. Like my whole life was online. So I had I went to a mental hospital for like 3 times in 2019. Like I was like an actual crazy person.
Like Travis?
Yeah. Like actually, isn't that crazy? Manifesting that. No, I think I've always had a mental illness. It just like back in my day. How old are you? Can I ask?
Yeah.
30s, 20s?
I like you more.
I love
43.
Oh my gosh, you look great. That's
thank you.
Crazy. Okay, so then you'll know. Like, that's amazing. You really do look good. No, like I guess like back in like my growing up, like people just didn't talk about like mental illness and stuff like that. But yeah, I was like definitely mentally ill and definitely untreated. I wonder what mental illness Travis had.
He went to Vietnam.
PTSD.
I feel like there is a lot of that, right? Like he's very lonely. That's one of the themes of the movie too. Like, do you feel like it's society that pushes people to be lonely, or is it like something that you carry with you inside? What do you think?
That's a good question. I think I was a lonely person all my life. I don't know if that was by choice or what. I don't think it was necessarily society. I think I just like to be alone, but like in isolation, you go like a little crazy, right, when you're not around anyone. So I was like definitely a lonely person. I think with his case too, like he just like couldn't connect with people. I think there's people who just can't connect with people. Like I can't connect with people. Probably why, like, so I think it's that. And then when you are isolated and you are alone, like, and you can't make these connections with people, like, I think it like makes you spiral even more if you're already like kind of unwell.
Yeah.
So,
the writer of the movie wrote it as a kind of exorcism, right? Like he was like that character, and he felt like at least this way creatively he would like, exorcise his demons versus actually going and shooting someone, So
interesting. I never heard that.
I don't know if you like did the same thing with like your creative personality instead of like going a route that could have been.
Yeah, maybe. I guess like the violent stuff has never been like, I never like put that out in like fantasy. I have a lot of fantasies, right? Especially like with the sex working and all stuff like that. But I never had the violent. That's so interesting. I guess that is better than going out and doing it, right? People just do it.
Yeah.
I wonder if all like writers of like violent movies think that. Like I wonder if like a Quentin Tarantino is like, yeah, that's like I had those thoughts, so I got them out on paper.
Yeah, I don't know. Like there was like when he came along, Quentin Tarantino, he made those movies that also he wrote, like Natural Born Killers and True Romance, right? At the same time. They're very, very violent. People start, there were some, in this country also violence is a little bit out of control, but people start blaming the movies and blaming video games for being violent.
But I think there was like truth to that, right? People saw like Natural Born Killers and like, oh, I'm going to do this too, like, right?
I'm not sure. I think it's more the opposite. I think like if you ever have those thoughts, you can see them there and like then you don't have to go and go to school and shoot people up.
Yeah, I think it's just like, right, that makes sense. I think it's just really unwell people. That's interesting. Yeah, I always wonder about that.
This episode is sponsored by Blue Chew. Let's talk about sex. Do you want to bring the heat in the bedroom? Now you can increase your performance and get that extra confidence you need with Blue Chew. I'm from Europe. We're more open about sex, about talking about sex, about our problems. I have friends who have some problems in the bedroom, and thanks to Blue Chew, they have a very, very happy life. So I would recommend, if you guys feel some sort of a stress, something is not working downstairs, to reach out to Blue Chew, talk to their licensed medical providers, and see if they can help you out with that problem. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead and be ready whenever an opportunity arises. Blue Chew wants to help you have better sex. Discover your options at bluechew.com. Chew it and do it. And we got a special deal for our listeners. Try Blue Chew for free when you're using our promo code SOS at checkout. Just pay $5 in shipment. That's bluechew.com, promo code SOS to receive your first month for free. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Blue Chew for sponsoring the podcast.
Because Quentin Tarantino is like the whole reason I got into YouTube. Like my first 50 videos were Quentin Tarantino. Like I saw obsessed. Like I was obsessed. I still really, really like him. But he was always very nice to me and very cool. And I like put it out on social media. Just I wanted to meet him. And within 3 weeks of like moving to LA, I met him. Like I thought it was so cool. I moved to LA because of him. He was just very cool. Like all his stuff like inspired me. He like dropped out of high school. I dropped out of high school. Like it was very like inspiring,
You watch his movies as he was making them? Like did you get to see his movies?
I did. I saw Pulp Fiction in theaters. I was like 6 when it came out.
Right.
And my mom took me. She took me to see Speed and Pulp Fiction, I remember. And Speed, I think someone got decapitated or something. And I was like, oh my God, that was too much for me. But Pulp Fiction. But I didn't understand it. Yeah, like the GIMP, I had no idea. I was like, well, okay. So I think I didn't understand a lot of it. I just loved the visuals and like even back, I loved John Travolta. Like I kind of grew up with like the 70s shows like Brady Bunch and Welcome Back, Kotter. So I really did like John Travolta. My parents were very much that. But I liked the movie a lot. I love Pulp Fiction. But I watched them as they came out. I didn't see Reservoir Dogs when it came out, but I saw everything else. So I saw like Jackie Brown when it came out. I saw, again, Robert De Niro was in it. And I think anything Robert De Niro does is like my favorite.
Awesome.
Yeah. Have you met him?
No. But
he just had a baby.
You should introduce me to it. Look,
I don't know him.
I feel like you would get to know them somehow.
You would think. No, A-list people were never, I love them, but I always went with the Z-list. I was like Crispin Glover, like those are the people I can get you.
Right. Okay. I have never been a super fan of any person. Like I love actors and I would love to work with them, but I don't.
You don't fan?
No, I don't. Yeah, I don't think I get a kick out of that.
Interesting. I wonder if that's a foreign thing because my husband's very much like that too. He does not care about celebrities. Like he loves like arts and stuff too, but couldn't care less. Doesn't know actors. Like actors, their names and stuff like that.
Yeah, because but professionally, I love actors, and then I work with them, and then it's like, oh, I don't want these people in my life, like I understand them, but it's work. It's work.
Well, I always wanted to date them again for the attention thing. So I'd always date these people, and I'm like, oh my God, again, these are more like D-list people. They're not like the A-list, but I would date them, and I'm like, oh yeah, they're like nuts. You know what I mean? I mean, you have to be to get into like entertainment and stuff. I think to a certain degree, but yeah.
How did you know that you could be entertaining? Like when did you discover that? Okay, I can talk.
Yeah.
I know you can talk really fast.
Yes. I talk really fast. I don't think it is world record. I tried, but I don't.
Yeah, actually, look.
But, we have something to read something? Oh my gosh. The pressure is
I wanted to see if you could Travis Bickle at super speed. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I
think,
love
like,
this.
We
Oh my
went
God,
a little overboard and like we printed like 3 pages, but I think
I can
just
try.
one is
Top
fine.
me off when you need me to. All right, here we go. April 10th, 1972. Thank God for the rain, which has helped me wash the garbage and trash out the sidewalks. I'm working a single now, which means stretch shifts 6 to 6, sometimes 6 to 8 in the AM, 6 days a week. It's a hustle, but it keeps me busy. I work the whole city up down. Makes no difference to me. Do something. They're all animals anyway. All animals come at night. Horse, skunks. Oh, this is my favorite. Horse, skunk, pussies, buggers, queens, fairies, dopers, junkies, sick, venal. Someday a real one will come and wash all this scum off the streets. Each night while I return to the car to the garage, I clean up the back seat. Some nights I clean up the blood. 12 hours of work and I still cannot sleep. The days dwindle on forever, but do not end. All my life needed was some sense of direction, some place to go. I do not believe no one should devote his life to more self-attention, but should become a person like other people. I first saw her at Palatine Community Headquarters at 58th and Broadway. She was wearing a yellow dress, answering the phone out of her desk. She appeared like an out of the sewer. Out of this filthy mess, she is alone. They cannot touch her. April 16th, 1972, 4 o'clock p.m. I took Betsy to the Mayfair Coffee Shop on Broadway. I had a black coffee and an apple pie with a slice of melted yellow cheese. I think that was a good selection, but she had coffee. And for salad, she had everything she ever wanted.
I think you got it. Okay. How did you get that skill?
I don't know.
Do you love to read?
I do love to read.
Yeah.
That was like my first attention thing. I think in school, like when you had to like read the chapters before the end of the class, everyone's like, have Trisha read it. And I would just like read it super fast. So I don't know.
Can you process what you're reading?
Yeah, I totally can process. Like I feel like I'm very good at that. I actually can usually speak, like if I have something memorized, I can do it quicker. So when I did the Guinness World Records, they had me memorize Hamlet's soliloquy, which the words are so freaking hard in that. And I was like, okay, what?
I saw you doing that. That was hard for me to understand, but at least I could understand every word.
Yeah, I had to like practice it more. Sometimes when I get it on the spot, I'm like, oh my God. Like when I did Alan, they like gave it to me beforehand. They're like, here, practice. I was like, okay. So it's a little easier, but that monologue, I know. I used to know it. Like when I did acting classes, I'd always do like Travis's monologue. He's so good.
Yeah. But even like when you read, this is my favorite, and it's like, for you somehow this is glamorous, but what he's saying, right? This is like, wait, I can't even.
It's in the first paragraph, like in the bottom.
Right. It's like they're all animals anyway. Horse, skunk pussies, buggers, queens, fairies, dopers, junkies, sick, venal. Like how is this like? Oh yeah, I can see my life there.
Maybe. Well, that's like so. Like I remember when it happened, I was like, oh my God, so shocking. But the next line when he's like, a real rain is gonna come and wash all the scum off the street. I was like, oh, it's like so iconic to me. And I think it's like poetic. The movie's like has a lot of like, I don't know, just the visual of it. It's very poetic. The way he speaks, the way he like thinks,
he's very heavy and very poetic. I mean, I love this movie, but like I said, it never inspired me. I want to go that route.
Right.
I want to become him or live in his world.
No, I mean, I don't know if I wanted to become him. I really just felt like I was him. Even as like a 13-year-old, I was like, I think I'm him. I wanted to be like Iris. Like I wanted to be like the little prostitute in the movie. That was like my goal, to find someone. And I loved Harvey Keitel. Harvey Keitel was like my favorite. Obviously, Reservoir Dogs. He was so good. I loved him in this. And there was a movie called Mean Streets they did together, and it was so good. Like I just remember watching those as a kid and being like, oh, Harvey Keitel is like, I think he's superior in acting to Robert De Niro. I think like obviously Robert De Niro is like well-deserved hyped, but I think like he doesn't get enough recognition. Harvey Keitel. I think people like, I don't know. There was a movie he did where he was naked. Was it The Pianist or Piano or something? It was so good. He's been naked in a lot of movies.
Yeah, The Piano.
I appreciate that. Yes, The Piano. Oh yeah, Pianist was like Adrian Brody, but it's so good. I love when like a guy actor will get naked too. I think that's cool.
Yeah, that's a thing more like an American thing that are a little more prude than, when you go to Europe, that happened more often.
Really? People just be naked in film?
Yeah, and it's less of a shocking thing.
Yeah, that's like the most annoying thing. It's like the stigma of it. Even to this day, like I know I do sex work, but I'm like, oh, why can't you just be like naked? Like, it's just more natural, I think. I don't know. Yeah,
you wouldn't never see a movie in Europe where like, someone is naked in bed and then goes to the bathroom like wrapping the whole bed in,
Really?
That would never happen.
They just get up and butt naked.
Right.
I love that. That's why I love a European actor. Like they don't care.
Right. Yeah, I think it's a little more the culture, but yeah, I Okay, let me ask you another question. You mentioned that you were kind of a loner growing up. Are you feel like that today?
Yeah, I think before I met my husband, definitely. And I mean, we're still loners together now. So I just like met my husband who also was a loner, and we're just like together. But yeah, I was very much a loner. I think this is since I've had my daughter, I've had to like really socialize and like get her friends, like mommy friends and stuff, which is good. I think you should socialize. I think isolation, anytime I've gone to a therapist, it's like you just need to like get out and see people.
Yeah.
Because like I really like to be alone though. I like yes and no. I liked being alone, but I felt really lonely. You know what I mean?
And what was your version of like, driving around in a cab at night?
Oh.
What did you do too?
Making videos. I mean, I'd make like 40 videos a night on YouTube, like when I'd have spiral sessions or something. Like how he journals is how like I would be with like my camera. I mean, there was nights I post 40, 50 videos in a row and just like manic and people calling the cops. And I mean, that's how I got 5150. You know what I mean? Like people calling the cops and be like, she's not well, I think we see that a lot. Not a lot, but there's a lot of people that do manic episodes online. I think that's like the equivalent, especially with TikTok now. I mean, it's so fast and so quick to like get it out there. So that definitely was it. I would just be online chronically, like never take a break from it.
How long did it take you to get a following when you started? Or was it immediate?
No. Well, I met Shane, so it helped, doing videos with him.
Yeah.
Then I did a bunch of TV shows, and I think that helped. Like, America's Got Talent helped a lot. Like, I remember I went up, like, 50,000 people after that show. And then I did, like, Howard Stern talked about me on his show, and then went up, like, another 50,000. So I think it just took time. Maybe I got to where I am. And then, I just collabed with a lot of, like, big YouTubers. I think that was it. And then, it just kind of happened. I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to keep relevancy, Like I've done it like 15 years and it's like.
Are you a workaholic?
Yeah. Well, I love working. I
Yeah.
do. I love it. I love making money. I'm a Taurus. I don't know if that means anything to anyone. It doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what it means. But I know we like to make money and I love making money.
Okay. So, but yeah. Okay.
I do a lot. Like today when I have Glam, I'm like, okay, podcast. And then I got to do a mukbang. And then I got to do OnlyFans. I do Cameo. I do like TikToks. I like literally do like anything I can to like.
Yeah. I have never completely understood that term, but how do you come up with this idea of like, okay, I'm gonna eat food in front of people and they're gonna watch me?
Oh, well, I took it off of, it was big in Korea. There was like these girls that would eat live and get money. And I remember, I think the first time I saw it, I think it was the Fine Brothers did like a reacting to mukbang or they talked about it. Mm-hmm. And so that was the first time I saw it. And I was like, oh my God, this is what I should do. And then my first mukbang was like 2012 and people just like loved it. So I didn't know if it was like a fetish, like a feeder thing, but a lot of people who have like eating disorders like it or like enjoy it because they find it difficult to eat. So it was like, having someone help them eat with.
So this is like the violence, like people will like, like instead of like eating 6 pizzas, they would watch someone else.
Yeah, I think there's that. And then I think there's the ones of people who need to eat and they're like, okay, I'm going to eat with her and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. Okay. I think there's both though, because I think there is the like, I always get comments like, oh man, like thank you for like keeping me from eating. I don't want to either look like this or feel like this, whatever. So I think, I think there's a both of that, which is weird. And I eat all the time anyway. So I'm like, well, I might as well film it, and I still do. I did a mukbang before I came here. I love to do it.
Robert De Niro in the movie also like, well, Travis like it's terribly, like she
right
candy all the time, right? But there's a moment in the movie so like, okay, I need to get in shape. I have a purpose. Did you have that moment at
Not yet. I'm hoping it comes. My purpose. I love characters who eat in movies. I think it's Brad Pitt who like requests to eat in every like movie he's in. He's always like eating something, and I think there's something just so comforting about watching people eat. So that's so funny. Yeah, I didn't even think about that in this movie because he is kind of like ripped, but I guess he does kind of eat like junk. I don't know. I love when people eat junk. Back to Quentin Tarantino, he eats a lot of like burgers in his movies and
right.
Stuff. I think it's super cool. I think they opened a big Kahuna Burger pop-up like a year ago, and it was like the coolest thing ever. Food in movies just look good to me. It's like the coolest thing.
Yeah, it's part of pop culture too. Like,
actually, in the movie.
Oh my God, I knew that was moving earlier. I was like, what the hell?
Hi, Trish.
That's my producer.
I see. Okay, got it.
I was on the plane with Andres when we crashed.
Wait, and the last. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. Oh, that's so. Is that the concept of this? Oh, okay. I was actually so confused before I got on this podcast. I was like, I looked at it. I love the concept as I came, but I was like so confused. I was like, wait, I don't get it. SOS VHS got it. That's so smart. Oh my God, whose concept was this? Was this yours?
Yeah, but we developed it as a team.
And you were known for Bad Friends.
Yeah.
You're like they're like a who? How would you like?
They're pimp.
What?
No.
Were you like a side character or?
To be honest, I was just the producer, and then they make fun of my accent. So then we put a camera on me, and then I became like a little character in that show.
Okay, so you're kind of like, it's like the Howard Stern where there's like
exactly
and stuff.
Right.
God, I've never seen Bad Friends. I'd like have,
you never seen Bad Friends?
No, I just know it's like big. I follow him on
because
Carlos.
Yeah.
But it starts with Herrera. It's Herrera Carlos.
So
they're really, really funny people, and
I think this is a better one, to be honest.
I think so too.
I'd rather
Bobby.
come on this one because it's so funny and you're so like, I don't know. It's very just, I watched a couple clips and I was just like, this is funny. This is good. It's just such a good concept. Like I thought it's so smart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Skeleton, you want to do your rapid questions?
Yeah, I
we
have
have a
some
segment.
Okay, do I look at the skeleton or?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, hi, Trisha.
Hi, I
I
love
love
this.
sex workers too.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
We
This,
love that.
this skeleton has his.
Yes, pro sex
His
workers. We
experience.
love
Oh yeah,
that.
big time. All right, so you were born in California,
Yes.
and then you moved to Illinois. What do you remember about that chapter of your life?
Not much. It's drama. It's been blocked out of my mind. I remember just
Smart.
going back and forth and going on planes. And I used to lie a lot to people on planes and tell them I was like famous or that had a husband. And I was like literally like 10 years old. They're probably like, what the hell is this child bride next to me? I used to just lie a lot. I don't know. I used to lie a lot. I go on planes back and forth to California, Illinois. And I don't know. I thought I was cool. And I'd always travel by myself. So I don't remember much. Honestly, I blacked out so much of my childhood. It's actually crazy. These memories that come to my head are like only years of therapy do they come out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of remember this.
That's okay. Blocking out is healthy sometimes.
Yes, very much so.
All right, Bravo or E Network?
Neither. Both are trash.
Lindsay Lohan's mugshot or Paris Hilton's?
Tim Allen's.
Love it. Elvis or the guy who played Elvis?
Oh my God, Elvis. Hands down, Elvis.
Late 2000s or early 2020s?
Oh. Oof. I blacked out of both, honestly. I guess the early 2020s where we're at now, I guess.
Cool. Favorite movie theater ever?
Oh, I'm going to go with the New Beverly Cinema owned by Quentin Tarantino.
Love that. At La Brea.
Yes. It's where I met him for the first time. Very cool.
What's your favorite movie snack?
Oh, I do popcorn and nachos. I put the popcorn on the nachos with cheese.
Amazing. What actress or actor would play you in a biopic of your life?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard. I'm going to go with a hot girl and say Margot Robbie.
Yes. White Lotus season 1 or season 2?
I'm going to say White Lotus season 2 because it's more sex.
Love that.
Yeah.
What's the last movie you saw on a plane, and was the plane private?
Was the plane private? No, I do not go on private planes. That sounds like a lot. I don't know. I don't really watch movies on the plane. I honestly don't know. Shit. Oh, you know what? We went to the Maldives and I watched Dear Evan Hansen.
Oh, very nice.
Yes.
What's the first movie you ever saw in theaters?
I think it was Pulp Fiction. I think it was Pulp Fiction. I think we saw Sound of Music, but it was like obviously one that they brought back to theaters. But yeah, then I think Pulp Fiction was my first, or Speed, whichever one came out first, because I do remember those early on.
Okay. If you were going to have a cinematic death, how would you go out?
Ooh, jeez. Oh my God, there's so many good ones. I kind of love, oh my God, I don't know. Cinematic. Hold on, let me think of a good one. Maybe the 5-finger death punch. I think that's a pretty good one. I think it's kind of like some people think it's weak, but I think it's kind of iconic.
Okay. If Madonna and Britney Spears both fell into quicksand, who would you save?
Britney. I am not a Madonna stan. Britney all the way.
Love it. Seinfeld or Friends?
Ugh, neither. I don't like New York settings unless it's a Taxi Driver.
Oh, I love that. LA only?
Yeah, LA only. I just don't love New York shows. Like anything that takes place in New York. I love this movie, but anything else I'm just not into.
Okay, so Heat versus Collateral.
Collateral.
With Jamie Foxx.
I haven't seen Collateral Damage.
No, Collateral by Michael Mann. You would love it.
Oh yeah, I remember that one where he's like driving around in a taxi.
And Tom Cruise is this serial killer.
Yeah. And he's like on the train and dies.
Yeah.
Heat, obviously. Yeah.
Okay.
I was like trying to think. I was like, wait, what? Okay, yeah.
You would like Collateral a lot.
Yeah, I think I've seen it.
Very
I've seen
LA.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I remember because he had like gray hair in the movie. I don't love Jamie Foxx or Tom Cruise, but I think I've seen that movie. Yeah.
HBO Max or Disney Plus?
Oh, Max for sure.
Hulu or Netflix?
Hulu. Netflix has nothing anymore.
Besides Moses, what's your favorite Hebrew name?
Oh my God. Chaim from The Idol. So good. Are you Jewish? Is someone Jewish in here?
Nobody in this room.
How do you say the Hebrew name one? That's so random. I love
Research.
that. Okay, love that.
Research the Jews on Google. Lots of stuff came up.
That's so funny.
Most memorable nude scene in a movie or TV show.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. I know. My most memorable nude scene. I like in my head right now, I'm thinking Lily Rose Depp in The Idol because that's like the first thing that I think of, but there's so many iconic ones.
Okay. And lastly, if your life was a movie, what would the title be?
Oh my gosh. Oh God. Fat and mentally ill. I don't know. That was hard.
It was hard, but everything's okay.
Thanks. This is so.
I'm glad you're here.
Whose idea was this? Was it yours?
I think it was in development.
That's okay. We love.
It's Holler Baby time. So if you guys want to do a shout out on the show, please go to holler.baby/SOS VHS. And John Ryan Sugimoto says, watch the short film Gut Punch on YouTube. Hehe. And also we have Justin Aquino who says, Feliz cumpleaños, mi amor Lucia. Love, Justin. J. Kim says, first children book, The Aces Alphabet, TV reference inside. J. Kim. And Chris Mascio says, lost my Switch on an airplane. Please give it back. So, guys, go to holler.baby/SOS VHS if you want a shout out on SOS VHS. See you next week. Okay, let's talk about love for a second. I read your book of poems and it looked like, completely heartbroken.
Yeah.
And everything is very miserable. But have you had that moment that, Travis in the movie when he sees Betsy, right? Like his heart stops and then, he's not the most sane person. And although he's looking for connections all the time, he doesn't really know how to get there. But Have you ever felt like that? Like this, lighting strikes you and it's like, I need to pursue this?
Yeah, I think every relationship I've been in, that's what I like about him too, is his obsession and this fixation on people. That's very much me too. I found in love. He knew nothing about this girl. He just saw her, right? Just saw her through a window. He's like, oh, that girl is pure. That girl's great. And she ended up being trash, whatever. And so it's that's kind of me in every relationship. I look at everyone as a pedestal that I date because it's very rare I like someone. So when I do, I hold them so high and then they end up being trash. Mm-hmm. Always.
Oh, they're high. Well, yeah. So I know that it's very difficult to shrink your life because you have been very open about it and you have so much material about you. But there's a moment where you said maybe 10 years ago, you said I've been in love only once.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah.
And then you said something oh, it is worth it even if your heart gets broken and all of that.
Yeah. Well, I think every relationship I felt in love and then, thinking, okay, that wasn't love. Right. You think you're in love and literally every relationship I've been in before my husband, nobody liked me back. But I was so in love with him. I didn't see it. Everyone else on video would be he does not like you. He is not into you. What are you doing? And I would just be so enamored. So I felt I was in love. And yeah, this is the real, truly only in love where it's a mutual in love where we both really like each other or love each other. So yeah, it's hard. It's so hard, especially because I have a personality disorder that I just I meet someone and I think oh, this is it. I go on one date and I'm oh, we're gonna get married and have kids. I did that with so many people and just idolized the relationship for something that it wasn't. But I love and I am now I'm so happy and my husband totally calmed me down. He totally stabilized me for sure. You asked earlier how I kind of calmed down and and I didn't have a way, but now I have Moses. And I had a spiritual awakening about 3 years ago where I'm very spiritual and centered. And so I just kind of breathe. I that's my advice to everyone. I know people hate to hear that, but anxiety attacks or depression, all this stuff like that. If you can just breathe and be silent for an hour, it really helps so much.
So he's very centered. He's your anchor in a way.
He's my anchor for sure. He's great. I pushed him away a lot, and the beginning of our relationship was toxic because I was always I was being a lot. I was very I was on drugs. I was pushing him away. I was doing the most, and he kind of stuck with me, and I was kind of crazy. So I was all right, let me try and get better for him, and then I got better for myself.
Yeah. So love saved you.
Love saved me. I'm a firm believer. People are oh, you shouldn't look to someone to save you, but I think people can. And then of course my daughter completely changed me. So
I guess you answered this, but in one of your poems you said that you would settle for okay. I guess you didn't settle for okay.
Oh my gosh! Did you read the poetry book?
Yeah.
Did you buy it?
I
is it online?
It's online.
I don't care if it's online. It's a shit book, but
it's online.
That's so funny.
I found it.
Okay. I love that you read it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll buy.
So
I'm like, oh my God.
wait a second. So how do you come to like write books, be in movies and a bunch of TV shows? I think you said that 250. I mean, I couldn't count.
Yeah, like actually, I was a background and all.
Right.
That
Now,
stuff.
but I saw you like you went to Ellen, like, and how is that? Are you like hyper all the time? Can you, like you work 24/7?
I do. I work 24/7. I just got really lucky. Again, YouTube brought a lot of that. A lot of people found me on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, and like this too, you just meet people and then they're like, do you want to come on this show and the show? And kind of like reality TV was a lot like that. Like I did the Stanley superhero show. And then from that, someone's like, you want to do the Greg Barron show? And then from that, it's like, oh, do you want to come on America's Got Talent? Like I didn't audition for anything. Like America's Got Talent, they just like flew me and I just like auditioned for the judges right away. So it's like basically just who you know, but like also making those connections. It's not like I'm like, I wish I was a Nepo baby, but like it's just like who you know. They like, oh, you should do this. So that's why I like put so much out on social media. I do a lot of ASMR like cosplay because I thought, well, maybe Martin Scorsese sees this and he's like, actually, she should be in the Taxi Driver sequel, and I'll be like, yeah, you got to put it out there, So, could you imagine they had a female taxi driver? That would be horrible. It'd be like the Ghostbusters. It'd be so bad. I could just cringe thinking about it. Ugh. But I mean, you just never know, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll see something and like, I need this for a movie. So I'm still going after like, I don't know, 15 years out here. I'm still trying. Longer, 17.
So now that you have a daughter and also like that, growing up the way you did, and like, what do you think, like, what would you want for her in terms of this fame and like attention? Do you think like that's...
I hope she gets enough attention from me that she doesn't have to like validate and seek it through like strangers because it can be exhausting.
Right.
So I don't know. I hope she just does whatever she wants. Obviously like she just did her first commercial like the other day, which is like,
right.
So like, it's always a weird thing. You're like, do I want to do this? Like, because people say, but the child actors I talk to, they're like, when they're a baby, they don't know. They only work for like an hour. There's like these laws and stuff like that. So, she loves to be around people. So I think like, and she likes, she definitely like puts on a show for people. She's like almost a year and she knows how to be cute and she knows how to do that. So she'll like do faces at people and do her so big arms and stuff. So I think she's like a born entertainer, but I definitely don't want to be that person that pushes it because you
don't want to be like, do you want her to be like Jodie Foster and like,
right.
Like,
no, never.
12 and like,
no, that's crazy to me when people do that. Yeah. I'm always like, wow, like no, never. But even to be on sets with like grown-ups, like I would be there like 24/7 because it is like one of those things. Like Corey Feldman was on my podcast, like an old podcast I did. And he was just like, yeah, like he had like people take advantage of him when he was like 12 and stuff like that. I'm like, where, like his parents just like weren't around, or they were around, but they weren't seeing this part. And I'm just like, that scares me, like you could have your parent on set and that stuff happens. So I think just being around adults in general is maybe not.
Yeah, that happens to adults too. So definitely.
Yeah, right. And so, and kids don't know. I mean, I didn't know, when I was like molested as a kid and stuff, you like don't know these things. Like you just don't think of it as like weird because you don't know any different. But yeah, all that scares me so much. Like it is. But we did like one commercial was cute, and I don't know, just whatever she wants to do. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard. If she's like, I want to be an actress, then it'd be hard for me to say no because I wanted to do that since an early age.
Right.
But I don't know. We'll see when we get there. I can't judge anyone because like once you have a child, then you're just like, oh, okay, it's a different thing altogether.
Right.
Yeah.
But I know that you do videos with her and like that she's already in that world of media.
Well, like I do maybe like one video a month with her now. Okay. I feel like she's out there more. Maybe like a TikTok a week, but I do get weird about that sometimes too. I'm like, I go back and forth with it. Do you put your child online?
No.
You never show the face?
I haven't yet. I'm very concerned about how, because I teach college and I see the people with how they interact with technology, right? And I didn't grow up with that. Mm-hmm. I got it a little later, so I think I'm a little more healthy. But so depending on all of the social media, so young, I don't know what it. I mean, and I know that in one way or another, you were always, even you could have invented social media. You would have been on press, on TV, whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like, I feel it's very addictive and it's.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I was like filming videos. Like a lot of people were like, my husband too. He's like, yeah, I used to like film like little movies, on like VHS and stuff. So I think it's like one of those things where it's like weird. I think when they're babies, they're so like not identifiable yet either. True. So I'm like, oh, she's kind of good. Right. I know a lot of people say when they turn like a year or two, or when she starts talking or something. Yeah, I feel kind of weird about it. Like I love to show her. Like I love showing her off because I think she's like the cutest and funniest thing. But it is like one of those things. And that's what I wanted to resent me. I just had like Dr. Drew on my podcast too, and he was just literally saying like his kids were like, we didn't like being on TV, and he's like, oh shit, like
right.
So it's kind of one of those things you don't want to like take away their privacy either. It's just such a hard thing.
Yeah, I think I said it before, but like Lana Wachowski said something like they did The Matrix, and He says something like, anonymity is like virginity. You can only lose it once.
Interesting.
And then that's it. Once you open that door.
Yeah, I think she's already lost it because she was like talked about like a week before she was born. Everyone thought she was like Queen Elizabeth reincarnate, and I was like, oh my god, this is so weird. It was so bizarre. People are so weird. The internet's weird that way sometimes. So yeah, have you had Keanu Reeves on your podcast?
No.
You should get him.
I definitely, Keanu, please come.
What movie would you dress as for him if it was a Keanu movie?
I mean, I usually let them choose their favorite movie, but
Okay, but you have to choose for him because he's Keanu.
in one of his movies, or
Yeah.
we did The Matrix. That it has to be the.
You did The Matrix?
I did The Matrix with not with Keanu, but we did an episode on The Matrix. But I would
Who?
say The Matrix or John Wick. I think those are his
Awful.
big things.
Those movies are horrible. I saw like the third or fourth one in theaters. It was so boring. It was so long. I was like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
It's so visually dark. Like I can't even see anything that's happening.
Yeah.
Like
What would you like of his
Keanu?
Yeah.
Oh. Knock Knock.
Dangerous Liaisons? Oh, Knock Knock.
Was he in Dangerous Liaisons?
Yeah, he's the one that doesn't fit.
The one with John Malkovich?
Yeah.
No. When you're talking about nude scenes earlier, and they had my favorite nude scene, I was thinking Uma Thurman. Like I really love those. Oh, I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. That would be a good one too.
Have you ever seen, I mean, this is a Marlon Brando movie. It's in the 70s. So
Okay.
it's called, I'm trying to translate, Last Tango in Paris.
No, I've always heard that one in movie trivia. I
That
don't
one
know.
will, that's as sexy as you can go.
Wait, really? Marlon Brando?
Marlon Brando.
I don't think of him as sexy.
Oh,
Even when he was young, I'm like, no.
But it's one of those that are like borderline today. With today's eyes, it's difficult to see, like, because she's 16 or 17, he's like 45 or 50.
Really? Who's the actress?
Her name is Maria Schneider, and she only made that movie. She got pretty traumatized by it.
Yes, I mean I heard about that for that reason. I always I heard it was like an X-rated like was she the director or something traumatized? Or she didn't know what was going to happen, right? Is that the one?
They have a very sexy scene with butter.
Yes, I heard that. Do you think it's real? So she didn't really know? You think they
Right.
Really...
That's what it came out recently.
Who's the director of it?
His name is Bernardo Bertolucci. He's a European.
Oh, okay, the Europeans.
Like also from the 60s.
No, European directors are crazy because like Roman Polanski too.
Right.
Did he just like disappear? He just like escaped. He's never coming back to the U.S.
He cannot count.
Is he like wanted? Is that why?
Yes.
I don't know exactly what happened with him. I just know he's like ick.
He, his wife got murdered.
Yeah.
You saw the Tarantino version of it.
Yes, of course. That's all I knew about it, which is good because, she lived in that movie. So that's
Right.
a happy ending.
And then he was at a party with Jack Nicholson, and there was an underage girl there.
And he was proven guilty.
I don't think he never got to trial. The moment that were accusations, like he went to Paris.
How does that happen? So you can just flee the country and they don't come find you?
There's no extradition laws in France to America is why.
No way.
Mhm.
So anyone could escape there.
Exactly. It's very famous for that.
Yeah, Amber Heard went to Israel, of all places, after her trial. I was like, that's very random. I wonder if they have the same law there.
But I don't think she was wanted.
Get a good point.
I don't think
That's a
her
good
crime
point.
is that type of crime.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
Okay, so do you ever feel like an avenging angel, like Travis Pickle? Like, do you ever like find a cause and like go for it? Even not with a gun, but with your.
I would love, honestly, my dream. I play the lottery 5 times a week because that's when it goes. So I play 5 times a week. There's no lottery tonight. Tomorrow there will be on 8/18. It's my lucky number. But I always play the lottery, and I always say if I win, I'm gonna go set up like a bunch of safe houses like everywhere here in the U.S. for like sex workers who like don't want to be in sex work but don't have a place to go. I want to open up safe houses in India and the Philippines. Those are like my 3 places I want to. So like Vegas, LA, India, Philippines. And I would love to be like a vigilante and like save all these like sex workers and stuff like that. Like, what was the movie? Was it Slumdog Millionaire? Where she was a sex worker. Did you ever see that one? She was like a sex
I've
worker.
seen that, but I don't remember her being a sex worker.
Right? No, she was.
No, I think the little girl was.
Oh.
Yeah, like when she was an adult and she had like the thing on her face and stuff like that.
Well, she was like forced to be. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the ones that are forced. Right, exactly. I should clarify that because consent people who want to be sex workers, that's like obviously like me. But then there's some that are forced. And like my dream is to like save them because I get emails and I never know if they're real or not. And I never know who to like contact. And sometimes, you could whatever. But I get tons of them like that say that they need help. And I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I can do. Like, it's very, very scary and it breaks my heart. But there is a great organization out of Vegas and I think it's called like they make shirts that says like Jesus loves porn stars or something like that. Hookers for Jesus, that's the organization. So I would love to do something like that. And like they try to like help girls that are in like, clearly being trafficked in the casinos of Vegas. I think that stuff is so great. And so like ultimately like that's what I would love to do if I just had like all the money in the world.
That's the cause you feel like more like, in tune with like sex, like I guess like protecting
sex
people
workers
from like abuse.
Yeah, because so many are forced into it, and I knew so many that like were like killed, and it was like really sad. And I get emails and texts and DMs all the time, so I'm like, I'm sure other people don't get this many, and I get them all the time. So I really, I try to do. There's really just nothing police can do. Like when it comes to cyber stuff, like there's just not much they can do.
Yeah,
and it's so sad. And I know these things happen, but if I was someone with money, I would get someone to go to these locations because they'll tell me I'm at this location or whatever, But I don't know. You don't know. Is it a trick? Is it a trap? Is it someone else typing on someone's behalf? Like it's crazy, It's very scary. So,
but for example, is that why you ended oversharing immediately when you heard like allegations and things like that? Is like this like something so that is very personal to you?
Yeah, I think when it because I try, there was for a minute where I try not to pay attention to the internet and whatever, but when it comes to anything with like underage people, like period, I just like cannot, like it makes me physically sick. I think because I had so much of that in myself like when I was a child, so I think a lot of this maybe comes from that. But it's like even if someone's friends, if someone has someone at their birthday party that's underage, I think it's weird. If you're like a grown adult and you're talking to someone even 17 about to turn 18, like I think it's weird. Like even 18, 19-year-olds, they're still teenagers and you're 40, and like that stuff like really creeps me out. It really irks me. I think something's like seriously wrong with those people. So
did you watch Woody Allen movies as you grow up? Were growing up, I guess.
Woody Allen was my absolute favorite. Like I was really obsessed with him, and like very sickly when I was a kid. I heard about his like thing with his stepdaughter, and I was just like, oh, like, like maybe I'll marry someone, like, because my mom had a lot of husbands and boyfriends, and like in my head I thought I romanticized that like when I was a kid, which is like
but
so
not only
gross.
you. If you think of something, I mean, this is one of my favorite movies of all time. That like rewatching now is hard to accept certain things, but he made a movie called Manhattan. It's like super famous, right? When I saw that movie, I always wanted to go to New York.
Yeah.
It's, just 4 years later after Taxi Driver, but it's a completely different New York. This one is glamorous, it's beautiful.
Yes.
And his character is like 40. He's in love with a character that in the movie, like the actress is 18 or 19, but the character is 17.
Right.
And this is a movie nominated for an Oscar. So the whole world is on board with this idea of love, right? And now it will be like very cringy.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, like, because you growing up is something that we all somehow romanticize.
Yeah, like it was totally fine. Remember when Jerry
fine.
Seinfeld dated like a 17-year-old, and I was like, that's normal. He's like 30 and dating a 17-year-old, and it's like, so, but yeah, you wanted to be that person that was picked. I think it was Steven Tyler, had sex with like a 16. So you like wanted to be that person. You're like, oh, I'm young and attractive. I thought there was a small window from like 16 to like 18 that people would think I was like attractive and would want me, including like Woody Allen and stuff like that. I was very much like attracted to him, and I don't know, it was really weird. Watching the documentary, I was like sick to my stomach over it. It's like so disgusting. So that kind of stuff is like so gross. But yeah, watching those movies, it is crazy, and that's why I can't watch like Euphoria. Like I try to watch it, and like just the fact that like I know they're adults, but they're like playing high school kids. Like there's something like I can't watch it. Like I watched 3 episodes and I just immediately was like, this is like it makes my stomach turn.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's like influencers doing this, and it's always been my always been my thing. Like I've always called out people dating like 17-year-olds, even if they're 24. I'm like, that's gross. Like they're like children. Like it's I don't know. It's a trigger for sure.
Yeah. Because, like, I mean, I remember you building this set, and then immediately after, it's like, okay, done. But you're
3 episodes.
so fast, like, on your feet, right? Like, how do you pivot so fast? Because you build a set, started a show. The show is already successful in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Oh, and we lost so much money. My husband, he's like an architect and a builder, interior designer. So he does everything. He does the lights, the cameras, the audio. So that's it. Otherwise, I would have no idea how to do it. And he just did it really fast. I got really depressed after that ended because I was like, I miss podcasting. I like doing it. I love just like talking, obviously. And so I was so sad. And I was like, God, this sucks. Like, why? What? It blindsided me. So he pivoted quickly for me, and we got on it. And I really love to do it. It's cute. This is great too. Like sets are really hard to build, actually. Like I think people don't realize if you have a set and you're a podcaster, like it's a legit thing, because most people don't. They just have microphones on a couch, which is like fine. But.
Yeah, I think originally people were only listening to them and didn't matter as much, and now it's more like people
visual.
Like to watch it.
Would you want this to be a TV show? Like I set mine up to be like a TV show. I'm like, oh, I would love to be like Wendy Williams.
Yeah, this could be a TV show.
Totally.
I think like the format, like you can have like a more famous host like that is in that world, like an actor.
You wouldn't want to be the host of it?
I mean, if someone were to like buy the format and say, hey, we're going to have, I don't know, like a Robert De Niro is going to do it. And I would say, yeah.
That would be crazy. I feel like that would be such a good one. That would be so good. I think you have such a good personality. You're so different. You know what I mean? Like, I think you would be so good at it. Yeah, I think it's funny how like podcasts make a lot of money, but like we still like to be mainstream. I don't know. Maybe it's like our age, but I'm always like, I still want to be on like TV, even though it'd be like way less money. I still think it'd be fun.
Yeah, but it's all these podcasters now that are rejecting, they came, like even Bobby and Andrew, right? They came here, wanted to make movies, and now it's like, okay, when they get offered movies, they have to think about it because they're following so hard on podcasting.
Yeah, the podcasts are where it's at. I mean, if Quentin Tarantino's doing a podcast, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Like legit,
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, podcast world is fun.
When did you feel like that your, those dreams of fame and fortune start becoming true?
I don't know if I've ever like made it quite there. I think I've always had like internet fame. I always thought it'd be so cool to be like famous, you know what I mean? And fortune has always like come and gone, so that's fun. I guess like buying my house, I was like, okay, like I kind of made something, because so many years I just spent my money on like music videos and stuff like that, and I just like literally spent money on production and I didn't save. So when I finally like bought a house, I kind of felt like, okay, I did it. And then I bought my mom the house, and then like, then you start feeling some type of way. But I would much rather be famous than rich any day. Like I would rather like have $0 in my bank account and be like so famous.
What type of famous? What's the dream? Like it's like a Kim Kardashian type of famous, or
interesting. It's
Margot
funny.
Robbie kind of famous?
Ooh, that's a good question, because like both of those things don't sound appealing to me, right? Like it's cool. I like them. I like both of those people. But that's like an interesting
Trump
question.
type of famous?
No, not Trump. I don't know. That's a really good question. I don't know if I have like a fame idol. I don't know if I do. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know. Honestly, I don't know, because I always think, oh, like Britney Spears famous. But I'm like, oh, she probably has a lot of like, she seems like she has a lot of sadness, and now with her divorce and stuff, like, I don't know. There's probably a lot of like loneliness, because who could you trust? So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe just, I guess my level of fame is okay for me. I'll be good at this level.
So then you made it.
I made it. So
Right.
I guess right now I realize that I have the fame and fortune I needed.
Yeah. It all comes with a price. Like like you get your haters and your trolls, and then as you go into other politics, doesn't matter, sports, you'll have that.
Oh yeah, they follow you everywhere. I was a troll and I manifested trolls, and all the trolls follow me everywhere.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh.
And how do you deal with that? Your shield?
Just like shutting off social media. Like I love it, but there are times when I'm just like, I don't want to look at it. So I literally don't look at it. I look at my stuff. My husband moderates a lot of my comments, and I don't give a fuck, because I'm like, I don't want to see bad comments. Like that's it. It'll make me spiral. And I think
but
that's
he
like,
deletes them, or
yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And it like works. And then they stop, whatever. Then they'll come on like this podcast or something, or like I did trash Tuesday. Then they go there and like, oh my God, this person's horrible. Right. And like then people have to deal with the backlash. And I'm like, ooh. I used to like warn people, but I felt like I was manifesting it. And now I'm just like, I don't, whatever. It is what it is.
How does he deal with that? Because he's more, he doesn't come from this world. He's more like normal.
Right, exactly. Right? Very normal, and I love it.
And how does he deal? Because you brought him to this world, right?
Yes, totally.
The lights are always on.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, he's so chill. Like he really, when I tell you he like does not care, he like does not care about like anything in like the best way possible. He's nothing phases him. Like, like I could do like the worst thing in the world, and he's just like, it's okay, we'll figure it out. Like he's that person that like, if something, all shit goes to like, I always ask him like the hypothetical situation. I'm like, I forgot it was like a news story not that long ago, and like the parents were like hiding out their son who like just like killed somebody or something like that. And I was just like, God, that's like crazy, because that's your son. What do you do? And it's like, do you help them? Do you do whatever? And so I feel like in those not that situation, that's so extreme, but I'm saying like he would be the calm person to like figure things out.
Right.
Yeah. That's a weird analogy. I don't know why I said it like that, as if I killed somebody, but sorry. I didn't get a cut.
Remember at the end of the movie, after the whole, shootout, he becomes this hero.
Yeah.
But then at the end, like he's driving Betsy, right? He catches himself in the mirror, and he has to move the mirror because he cannot look at himself.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you remember that moment.
I didn't go that deep with it.
Okay.
Okay. Like I just thought it was like artistic. Like, okay, now we'll flash to the lights in the credits.
Okay.
Okay, but I like that. I like that one.
So similar to that, do you feel like proud? Do you have those moments where like, oh, I can't believe I did this? Or like now you're at peace with your life and everything has...
Yeah, I think like I'm at peace. I think, but there are times where I'm like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. I have to live like the rest of my life with like some stupid shit that I've said in the past. So it's like both. Like I'm at peace because you can't change it. So I'm like literally just trying to be like, I can't change it. It's like that. But I would totally like also push the mirror away. I'd be like, what, let me not look back there. You know what I mean? But maybe it's metaphorical. Maybe he's like, I don't want to look in the past. So like, he's like, I'm just going to to look forward. But I did hear on a commentary once that the writer, I think, said that he wouldn't have lived 6 months past the movie or something like that because he's like, oh, we should do a sequel. And like, no, Travis is going to like succeed the next time. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think he was always kind of doomed.
It does kind of feel like that in the movie. It feels like there's an ending after it looks like he died, right? The camera goes out of the house.
Right.
All of that.
Or they said that he might have died and it was a dream sequence.
Right. And then it looks like it could be a dream sequence.
Yeah.
That was my first interpretation and looking all through the mirror, except for this one shot where like she actually seems very real. She gets out of the taxi and all that. But yeah, I that's my interpretation of it. Is like he died and now but he goes back, talks to his people, like, he was
right.
There's like all the newspapers that said like he's a hero, and I think like as a commentary probably was like what they wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure. Have you ever seen The Deer Hunter?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
same time of movies, those 70s.
You should have Christopher Walken on the podcast. He's also
very
good.
Yeah. I think, can I hire you as a booker? Can you book me all these guests?
Sure. I reach out to people. I DM. I mean, Christopher Walken doesn't have Instagram, but like I try and DM like literally everybody and just see if some people respond. You never know. I mean, that Drake was just on some random person's podcast, so you never know.
Yeah, I think you might have a little more pull than I do.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. I've gotten some good guests, but you never know. Just try. You never know. Well, you have like bookers. You actually, it's me and my husband at home. You know what I mean? You have like bookers.
Right.
Do it.
Hey, Andres, you want to do movie facts?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, is this trivia?
Yeah. This more like facts about this movie.
Just fun facts.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Jodie Foster shadowed an actual hooker to prep for the role. It also included inspiration for the scene where she adds sugar to her toast, which is already covered in jelly, just like the hooker she shadowed.
Did they pay this hooker for?
Actually, she is in the movie.
She's walking with her, right?
She's walking with her, so they put her as her friend.
Wow.
Yes, we have that in my music video too. Her friend walking with the fringe pants.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Due to a garbage strike, much of the on-screen filth is real.
It's funny. I feel like it's still like that in New York.
Yeah.
It's garbage everywhere.
In the film, Travis orders apple pie with melted cheese. When real-life serial killer Ed Gein was arrested, he asked police for a slice of apple pie with melted cheese in exchange for a full confession.
Wow. Okay.
Producer Julia Phillips claims that Scorsese casted Sybil Shepherd as Betsy because of the size of her ass.
What? I did not notice that in the movie.
She further revealed that Scorsese and Shepherd had a difficult relationship on set.
Interesting.
One of the biggest rumors of the movie is that when the movie got an X rating from the MPAA, Scorsese stayed up all night drinking, doing coke with a loaded gun in his hand, preparing to shoot the executive at Columbia Pictures the next day.
That can't be real. I'm sure someone just made that up.
Tarantino talks about that, and it looks like it's something that Tarantino would fantasize with.
Yeah. I feel like that's not a real thing.
I think it's Tarantino's favorite movie or one of his top movies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I actually never heard that. That's interesting. I wonder, yeah.
And it's like, you can tell like the violence and the...
Oh, interesting. Yeah. Maybe that's why I also liked it. I don't know. Maybe I knew that subconsciously back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it. He also loves Elvis too, which I love too.
I was going to say with when the Freaks and Geeks DVD came out, Judd Apatow has a long couple paragraphs in the booklet that it comes with. And he's so upset that Fox didn't give them a season 2 that he basically bashes the executives in the DVD liner notes.
What does he say?
Just that they're worthless, they're not smart, they don't know what they're doing.
Oh my God.
In comedy. But it was like 2008.
The gun has a little more weight.
Yeah. Judd Apatow bashing someone in the credits is like, okay.
Yeah, Gun in New York in the 70s is more romantic.
Yeah, unpopular opinion. I don't think Judd Apatow is that great. Right? The movie's not that good.
But we would have you on the show.
I'm not like a Seth Rogen, Judd Apatow, like that era of movies. We tried to watch one the other day. This Is 40 might have been the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Might have been a Judd Apatow movie. It seems like one.
You didn't like
No, it
that?
was one.
Was it? Okay, yeah.
40-year-old virgin.
Is that Judd Apatow too?
Yeah, that's his first.
And I like Steve Carell, but no, that one cringy. I mean, they're all just like cringy. To me, they're like not funny. Paul Rudd is cringe. I love Only Murders in the Building, but this season I cannot watch. And I love musicals and Broadway and March. I love everything about it. Meryl Streep from The Deer Hunter. Like I love everything about it. Paul Rudd. Maybe it's Paul Rudd's fault. Maybe it's not Judd Apatow. Maybe it's the combination of the two.
Paul Rudd plays Apatow in all his movies, including the opening of This Is 40.
Yeah.
Is that
it? The opinions of these the guests are their own. This show does not support these opinions.
I'll get canceled. This is why I'm never hired in Hollywood. I'm like, they suck.
There
They,
is
like,
another
run
cool
Hollywood.
fact about this movie, though, which is that Scorsese had noted that there's a King Kong patch on Travis Bickle's jacket, and that it's supposed to be basically that Travis is King Kong and that Iris is the girl from King Kong who he saves.
I don't know that. I mean, I know the story, but yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Wait, how? I don't know the story of King Kong. King Kong, like, aggressive? I don't know.
No, he's aggressive, but he saves this girl and takes her to the top of the Empire State Building, and he's like protective over her, and that's what Scorsese wants Travis Bickle to also be protective over Iris.
A monster that has a little bit of a soft spot for this person.
Okay, unpopular opinion, movies with monkeys are horrible too. Like Planet of the Apes. Like, I'm just not into those at all.
All monkeys.
All monkey movies are just Dunstan Checks In or whatever that one was. That was all bad.
Another interesting Apatow fact about This Is 40 is that...
Oh my God, this is not a This Is 40
No,
podcast.
but this is actually crazy.
Okay.
He was done writing it, or about halfway done writing it, and he calls Albert Brooks, who plays the dad in the movie, and he goes, "What is this movie about?" And when I read that before the movie, I went, how is this going to be good if the writer doesn't know what it's about?
Oh,
But
what?
Yeah.
Talking about Albert Brooks, I want to bring it back to this because he plays in Taxi Driver. He's the one who plays the campaign colleague of Betsy.
Oh, that's right.
Wait,
And
what? With the is he
he's
the one with the curly hair?
The curly hair,
Yes.
and that's the.
Is he the one from Annie? Was he in Annie, Daddy Warbucks? Am I wrong? Albert Brooks sounds familiar.
But he's
Okay.
a comedian, and
Oh.
they didn't know, there was the most boring character in the whole thing, so they
Yeah, I don't
give
remember
it to a
it.
comedian so he could, elevate it a little bit.
I literally don't remember that character at all. I mean, I haven't watched this movie in 10 years, but I
Right.
know everything about this. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, why do they need a comedian for it?
I think because he thought it's gonna be, he can improvise and he can make these lines that are so boring a little more fun. 'Cause
Interesting.
he has a 5-minute part, but
Yeah. Well, I guess it didn't work because no one remembers it. That did not achieve that goal.
are you done?
Oh, we got more.
Oh,
This
yeah,
is 40
I'm
facts.
I'm done with my Apatow facts and my Scorsese
Do you
facts.
love This Is 40? I feel like you do. I feel like
Yeah.
What's funny is that I actually do love it. No, I like funny people a lot too. I like long movies that are just so self-indulgent. I'm just like, keep me in this theater. I want to enter your brain. But now I'm on a desert island and I don't see the new movie.
you should do a This Is 40 episode.
Yeah,
I'd love
yeah.
to see
We'll
that.
do it with
Dressing as
Carlos.
just boring people. Be awful. So bad.
Okay, a question about you. How do you approach this idea of self-worth in a world now where you need validation from everywhere, from the external? How do you keep that in mind?
Like, what do you mean? Like, how do I
How do you feel, I guess, good about yourself, or how do you, without taking into account, or do you really put value in everybody else's
I guess it's like the hypocrite in me where it's like sometimes I really am like self-loathing, hate myself. And then I also have like body dysmorphia, but like reverse, where I think I'm like literally so hot and pretty. And then I like see myself in pictures, I'm like, ew. But like in my head, how I dress, everything, like in the day-to-day, I think I'm like gorgeous. It's very weird. So I think I have a lot of like narcissistic tendencies, but also a lot of like self-loathing tendencies. So I think I have an inflated self-confidence that more than most people, and I don't know where it came from. I think I've just always thought I was more attractive and pretty. But like at the same time, I'm like not the standard of beauty. So I don't know where I get this from. I don't know.
what do you get your confidence? Is it just because you were
know.
successful at everything you were doing, or
No, I mean, I flopped at so many things and I still flop at so many things. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know where the confidence comes from. I think it's both. I think it's both of just like, I'm really like
delusion?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a new thing now. The kids call it delulu. I'm like, oh, okay, you're delulu. I see it all over TikTok. I have a lot of delusions, and then I'm like, in my head, like I said, in my head, I still think like, oh, someone will. I think I talked about this on Trash Tuesday. I thought, oh, maybe Mike White will see me and put me on White Lotus. And this one, I'm like, oh, Martin Scorsese might see me and he might put me in a movie or something, like, you know what I mean? So
Robert Redford might come.
is he still alive?
He's still alive, but he's old.
I'll do it. Indecent Proposal too. I would do it in a heartbeat. That would be insane. You know, guys that age have sex. I mean, look at Robert De Niro just had a baby. And what is he, like 80? Al Pacino just had a baby.
Yeah, they're all 80.
I mean, that's crazy that you're like getting it in at that age. Like, I can't even imagine. That's crazy. I feel bad for guys. You could have babies forever. At least like mine shuts down at a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. Got to be careful. I told my husband, I was like, you could be having babies. It's like crazy with like at 80 years old.
Yeah.
With anybody. That's what's so scary.
That's insane. I feel like, 40 is already late.
Yeah, no, my husband is like 45 too, and it's like we got to get the next one going because it's like but that's when everyone's having babies now. I think women are having them in their 30s and guys in their 40s. I think it's just like a later thing in life.
I like the idea. I mean, for you it's a little different, but I think of like extending your childhood as much as you can.
Yeah.
And like, but I mean, I think you were pretty adult early on, or very aware of the adult very early on.
But also I think just like waiting, you don't feel like you missed out on anything. Like both of us are like, they're like, oh, you're gonna be home with the baby all the time. Like I feel like I'm missing out on nothing. I feel like I've done so much. I'm like, I'm excited to retire and be at home with the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so our previous guest asked a question. It's a very interesting question, but
do you do this every episode?
Yes.
So I have to ask a question for. Oh, okay. We know who it is, or I can't say?
No, we don't. I guess we could do.
Oh my God! Did I break this set? I'm so sorry.
Look, the airplane is like
triggered. I just broke a seat on the plane. Jesus. Okay, sorry.
But yeah, you'll have to leave a question for the next guest.
Okay.
But have you ever watched a Hong Kong movie?
A what?
Hong Kong movie.
Like Rush Hour? That's the only one I've seen. I don't know any other ones.
I would assume, I'm going to try to be as PC as possible, that means like a movie made in Hong Kong, like
Rush Hour 2 is in Hong Kong.
Right, no, but that's an American movie that takes place there or something like,
something made by Hong Kong production? No. So, how would I see that? They don't come over here.
So Hong Kong was super, super famous in the 90s for making the best action movies, and then they stole all those. Jackie Chan is an actor, director, writer in Hong Kong, and then they brought him to America because he was so good at that.
And people don't like that? Like what?
No, they like it, and like it's just I think
you act like it was a bad thing.
No. I think the guest is surprised that like I am, because I grew up watching international movies, and definitely in LA you can watch any of this. Like Tarantino would be a fan of these movies.
Totally.
Like all the action and
of
fun
Hong Kong
stuff.
Movies? Okay.
Yeah. Hong Kong, Korean movies today or whatever.
Never seen those. I've seen like Korean soap operas, but I haven't seen like Hong Kong movies.
Right.
Maybe I should. I've seen like hentai, which I know is like Japanese. I know it's like different, but
a slightly different genre. There's action, but not the same type of action.
Like, what's a Hong Kong movie? Like, I love Asian culture. I really do. Like, love.
So a John Woo movie. John Woo is the guy who then did Mission Impossible 2 here, or like something like Face Off with John Travolta.
So good, that movie.
But he made movies before that, like in Hong Kong, that were like straight out, like in actors like Chow Yun-fat, who then was, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
I never seen those.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, they're beautiful.
Should I watch them? Who asked that question? Who was that person?
Look, I can't pronounce her name well. I might say it there because her name is Yao Yin Summers.
Yao Yin Summers. Okay, love that. She an influencer?
Kind of.
She's a funny comedian.
Yeah, she's a comedian.
Yeah, you've had so many good
very
comedians
funny
on.
comic.
Oh my God, I don't know any comedians. You could tell me like anybody. I'm like, I have no idea who they are.
Right. I didn't know that many comedians before, but because I worked with two, then I became like part of the family.
Who is Bobby Lee and who else?
And Andrew Santino.
Oh, okay. I don't know him, but he's a comedian.
Yeah, he's
cool.
He's really, really funny.
We love that. We love comedians.
We love them. All right. What was your favorite scene in Taxi Driver?
Oh gosh. Okay, easy. The one where Iris and Sport are dancing. She's like holding on to him, and he has like his big arms. He's in like a pinstripe shirt, and he's like holding her and slow dancing. He's like, "Oh, you're like my girl. You're my woman." And it's like so like that was like always the most comforting scene to me. I could watch it over and over, and I'm just like, that's all I want.
Funny that you say that, because to me that's the creepiest scene.
Really? Oh my God!
It's so disturbing, and also it's the only scene in the movie that is not told from like Robert De Niro's character.
Right. Interesting.
It's like
I know. I wonder if I watched it now. Like I said, I haven't watched it probably more than 10 years, probably like 15 years.
Right.
And
but you know it pretty well.
It's ingrained in my head.
Right.
But I do wonder if I watched it, if I'd feel like some type of way now about it. And like in my head, it's very like romanticized. And then when you like think about it, you're like, oh no, it's like kind of fucked up. And in my head, I'm like, it's a movie. But then I'm like, also like, I just go back to being 13 and like wanting that so much. God, I would love someone to just like hold me and like protect me and like whatever. But yeah, that's easily my favorite.
Okay. For those who haven't seen the movie, why should they?
Oh my God, I love this. A little pitch for the Martin Square, like the biggest movie of all time. In case you haven't seen Taxi Driver. Oh gosh. I mean, it's a cinema classic. I feel like you can't be like even a little bit of a movie buff or someone who loves movies without seeing this. I feel like it's a staple. It's like Pulp Fiction. It's like those things you see. It's like you see those movie posters all the time and it's like you have to see. There's certain movies you have to see. I think Pulp Fiction's up there. I think Taxi Driver's up there. I mean, there's just so many. A movie poster I always saw was Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I was like, I have to see this because I see it everywhere, and it's like not good. But everyone I saw that everywhere when I was a kid in VHS stores,
right? And
I was just like, what? So I feel like those type of movies, like Graduate. There's like those certain staple movies. I think there's some you can pass on, like Gone with the Wind, like those you can pass. Casablanca. I was like, okay, like to me, those are not good. I don't like.
Are you a romantic?
Yeah, but I don't know if I like romantic films. I don't like love stories necessarily, but I like romance. I like just sex more than romance, right. I guess. I like gratuitous sex scenes.
Yeah, I'm getting through the movies.
Right. I don't even know what like romance would be, but
yeah. Casablanca.
Yeah, I don't like it. No, I can't do those.
What's your definition of success?
I think like now my definition of success is just like being happy. Like if you're happy, I think you're like, I'm so content in life. If I never do anything again, I'm like, I'm just happy. If I never like make like $1 million again, like I'm just like happy in life, I think if you have like a roof over your head and food and you can provide for your family, I think that's success, right?
Awesome.
Yeah.
And how do you want to be remembered when you're dead?
Oh my God. That's a good one. I just want to be remembered, period. So people remember me. And, I think sometimes you achieve almost iconicness after death, right? Like people always seem to rally behind you. Like now people like hate me and they throw a lot of shit at my way. But afterwards, I'm like, she had such a hard life. Like she was so good. People were so mean to her for no reason. Like that'll happen after I die, I'm sure. I mean, there'll be people who are happy, but it's like that. It's like Anna Nicole's one of my favorite people. And now everyone, and when she was alive, they were just like horrible to her. Like when she was pregnant, everything, they were just terrible. And now everyone like loves her, which they should. But it's like in life, they were like so mean. And she was like the first person to say that. And Pamela Anderson too. Like she's like, people were so mean to me. Now she's getting her flowers. But I think like in death, people are more Marilyn, all those people like in life.
Yeah.
I think that's where it is.
Awesome. Well, we're done.
Yay!
Thank you so much.
I love the ending.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. It was awesome having you.
Thank you so much. This was so great. I'll put my sunglasses back on.
Oh yeah.